Welcome to SB 405D Project Management. My name is Felicia Frida Aidan Aqua. Uh, I'll be taking you through this unit 3, Project Scope Management. Specifically, we're going to focus our discussions on some project management activities, session 3. And by the end of this session, you should be able to discuss how the work breakdown structure is created, describe how project scope is actually validated, and then the control phase of the project scope. So let's go into look at the work breakdown structure. So one thing you need to have in mind is, yes, there is our scope is big. These are all the things we're supposed to do. Now, for us to be able to really achieve this, we may then have to break it down into smaller themes or smaller subdivisions for us to be able to achieve all of this. And so the work breakdown structure, it is very, very, very important in there as well. So project scope statement includes a description of the project scope, the major deliverables, assumptions, and constraints. And the work breakdown structure looks at a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of the project, the total scope of the project to be carried out by the project team in order to accomplish what the objectives set, and then meet the various required deliverables. So basically, this is a document that provides detailed deliverable activity and scheduling information about each component in the work breakdown structure, and it has supporting documents to it as well. So you may have a work breakdown dictionary aside your work breakdown structure in there, which is going to give you details about every deliverable, every activity or schedule information, as well as the supporting documents to these as well with your work breakdown dictionary. And these are very important for your project. Now, once you've been able to do this, obviously you then need to validate your project. And so when it comes to the accepted deliverables, we're looking at deliverables that meet the acceptance criteria, or they are formally signed off and approved by your customer or your sponsor. And we also have change requests where the completed deliverables have not been formally accepted and documented along with the reasons for non-accepting. So sometimes things will happen and you may have to make some changes in there and all those ones. So the change request would also come in and you need to be able to work with them. Then you have your work performance information. So when it comes to your work performance information, so when it comes to your so one thing to add up to the change request is that sometimes there may be repairs and things which you'd have to look out for in there. And obviously you need to also have the work performance information. You need to be able to address your stakeholders or your sponsors or the people on your team, how the work is going, which deliverables have been met, are we on target, are we not, and all these things are very important and they come under work performance information. You also have the project document updates. These I can make mention earlier, are not supposed to be one time or static something. Whenever things changes, whenever we're making updates or something, whatever happens, we're supposed to be updating the project document as well, for it to be able to reflect the current state of things and actually have all other things like which we've worked on, reports on the status and product completion, as well as our deliverables and other variables in there which would have to be looked out for. So when we're looking at the control scope is actually the process of monitoring the status of the project and project scope and managing changes to the scope baseline. Whenever you hear control, what should come to mind is, yes, we set out to do A. Now we are doing B. We need to find out, is B in line with A, or B is gone off the hook from A. If it's in line with A, then we have to do things that is going to help it continuously be in line and then meet that target. If it's gone off, then we need to look out for ways to bring it back on board for it to go in the right direction. So the main advantage of this process is that it allows the scope baseline to be maintained throughout the project, and the control scope is also used to manage the actual changes when they occur and integrate any other control processes as well. And so at the control space, work performance information is needed a lot. So information on how the project scope is performing as compared to the baseline is very key, which can help us look at the various changes we've received, identify the scope variances, as well as what is even causing these variances in there as well. Then it can also help us do the change requests, and these change requests we can actually center it or not limit them to these, but these things usually count in as well, where we look at the scope baseline update. We could also do other baseline updates. We could do organizational process assets that may be need to be updated for us to be able to get the actual on point with what we actually have stated from the word go. And so the control scope is also very, very important if we are going to really run a successful project and be able to achieve the objectives which you set out from the word go as well. So in this session, we have discussed the work breakdown structure, how to validate your scope and control your scope on a project, which is very key for the success of every project. Thank you.